Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here today. My name is Rafael Guerreiro. I will talk a bit about the future of online business. And in fact, I don't consider my talk a new one. I consider my talk a continuation of all of the previous ones. I didn't know there was going to be so much talk about AI, but that's a good thing because I'm also going to talk about AI. So imagine you're building your new home and you ask an AI to help you with it. You will ask him, the AI will ask you important questions about your vision, the location, and the characteristics you're looking for. The AI can also build multiple architecture plans, as well as the concepts and the reasonings behind them. You decide to pick one of the architecture plans, and the AI helps you to structure a detailed briefing that you can send out to constructors. The AI will look for the most reliable constructors in your area. It will pick some of them, and it will email them the briefing so that the constructors can reply with their quotes. Then, once you get the quotes from the constructors, the AI will help you decide the ones that have the most cost and quality advantages for you. And it will help you determine and make important questions to the constructor on why you should decide to pick them. So you decide to select like 3 of them, and you go on to the meetings with them. You have the possibility of putting the AI on the meeting with you. You know, there's voice to text to voice, and the AI could be in the meeting and really understand what's going on. And you could even have the AI participate in the meeting and ask important questions to the constructor. Or you could just have a chat with you while you're on the call, and it's gonna send you texts of what's important for you to consider and for you to ask the constructor on that point. So after the call ends, you need to make a decision on which constructor to pick. And again, the AI will advise you on which one it thought was the superior option. So I'm going to ask you guys, how much time do you think it's going to get until we reach such a scenario, until we can do exactly what I said here? Who thinks this will happen in 5 years? Okay. Okay. Who thinks this will happen in 10? Okay. Who doesn't agree with any of those? Okay. When do you think this will be possible? Give me some. Okay. 2 years, 3 years, yesterday, now? Okay. So you can do this today. If you put up a few tools together, and if you use an automation software such as ATH, you can do this. You can put the AI on the call by using a model that understands language, and you can, if you're a little bit smart and you take some time to do this, you can put it together. So it's not a distant reality. So this really makes us think, right? Wouldn't it be smart for the construction company to also reply to all quotes by using AI, right? That makes sense. And wouldn't this create a world where a lot of processes, quotes, and a lot of the communication that's more maybe factual or around information, isn't it going to create a world where AI is talking to AI and we're just watching, right? It's going to create that. So here's a list of some of the things that you probably, if you're a business owner or if you work at a company, you do on a day-to-day that could be easily replaced by AI tomorrow. So dealing with suppliers and answering customer requests, that's an easy one. Managing social media, that's also a pretty obvious one since we got ChatGPT and a lot of the people have been looking at the use cases. Handling customer complaints, that's one. Asking and evaluating and deciding on quotes, such as this example that I just gave you. Analyzing and making financial predictions. Hiring, interviewing, and qualifying candidates. Because, for example, you could have the AI look at the resume and have the AI determine what are the important things to ask, what are the important things to consider. So that could also be automated. Accounting, orders and stock, structure and proposals, such as the example I just gave. Accounting, writing a new article for your blog, that's a pretty familiar one. Answering accurately and contextually any kind of email. Market research, market analysis, marketing and sales, quality control, customer support. So I don't know what we're going to do in the future. I really make that question to myself because usually people, when they would talk about AI, they would be like, yeah, but AI is going to replace mainly like the more processes and like analytical stuff, and then AI came, and it was actually the creative jobs that it took first, right? So it didn't took the jobs, but it can make anything that's creative. It can write a blog post, it can create an image, it can do a design. So yeah, it's pretty impressive in that point. So that leaves us with some choices, right? So we can cry about what the world was like until before, we can get sad, frustrated, and we can get depressed. Or we can decide to be stubborn, we can go against all evidence and believe that, yeah, we'll never be capable of doing what we humans can do. Or we can accept our fate and start leveraging AI to make our businesses and the world better as much as we can. And it's our job to figure what that looks like. I'm sure you and me, we've spent time in each one of these, right? I myself have. And at the end of the day, I think the last one is the smartest one, and it's really the one that we can look at, because things are not going to change. Things are only going to get better. Like Ignacio said, GPT-5 is at the end of the year. GPT-4 is already smart enough. So we really have to accept it and to embrace it on our businesses and the way we do things on our lives. The game has changed, and if we want to keep playing it, we have to understand the new rules, right? Okay, so now let's talk about some of the ways in which I think AI will have a big impact on our daily lives and on the internet's user experience. So I'm bringing again Vision Pro like Ignacio, because I want to show a very particular part of the product. Can you please play the video? So what this shows us is that trillions are being made just off of technology that kind of reads your thoughts. It doesn't really read your thoughts, but it's almost there, right? And it presents you with what you want even before you have the chance to express it. So one of the biggest things that would slow down usage of the internet and usage of computers is the input, right? As a human being, you have a limited speed that you can use the mouse, that you can type something on the computer. So really, that's mostly of what makes the difference in whether you're being fast or you're being slow when you're doing something on the computer, right? And what Apple is doing here, it's a way of accelerating that. And I do believe that with Neuralink and all of the stuff that people are developing, also with reading brain waves and all of that, in the future, we won't even have to use our hands like you saw on the Apple Vision Pro. You will just think what you want, and it will magically appear in front of you. So this just proves something very clear to me, which is convenience is the name of the game. Those who manage to have the most convenience and the most easy way to use their products are the ones that are going to win. And you'll buy much easier by the blink of an eye than if you have to type your credit card details on the computer, right? It has less friction. It's something more instant. For example, I myself, I don't know about you guys, but probably some of you do, I use Apple Pay, right? So when I'm at the shop, I just click twice on my iPhone and I beep, and it's super easy, right? And that just makes it easier so that we spend more money, right? With credit cards, that's what happened a lot when credit cards appeared, right? It made it more easy for us to spend money. And all of these technologies are doing the exact same. So it's an interesting thought to get, because the more steps you require to reach a destination, the higher the chance you just won't get there. So if you do the opposite and you make it really easy for people to buy from you, they will buy more from you. And that's actually the game of the marketing, right? It's making it easier for people to buy your products and to increase your conversion rates. So what does this mean for businesses and business owners? This means that a good user experience is no longer nice to have. It's actually a must, but that's no shocking news, right? A good user experience is an interaction where you don't have to go through a lot of steps to get what you want. You achieve your goals easily with minimum friction, and you feel good about it. If your competitor invests in a good user experience and you don't, you're going to be left behind, especially if that competitor is leveraging AI. So that takes us to a very interesting topic, which is personalization. And personalization brings me to marketing, and marketing is my background. So I often think that people complicate a little bit the job of marketing, right? So what you have to do in marketing is you have to understand really well the type of person you're trying to sell to. And after you do that, you identify where they hang out, whether that's online or offline, and then you craft a messaging, you craft a narrative that you know it's going to get their attention. And that's the way you sell, right? You go and you create narratives that touch on the person's needs, touch on the person's motivations. If you want to go, you can touch on the fears or on their concerns, right? It depends on the product, it depends on your style, and it depends on what you're trying to achieve. So that's it. It's really understanding who you're talking to and understanding how can you be tailored and how you can speak to them more directly than ever. And the challenge is that sometimes a product or a service, it has multiple applications, right? And it's kind of difficult to create narratives or to create marketing campaigns that talk about all of the varied use cases and all of the varied kinds of people and situations that your product can be used. So this makes it harder for the everyday marketer because it's a choice of either going generic and risking getting ignored or building multiple campaigns for all the personas and the scenarios, which can often be overwhelming and produce not so good results. So what's the alternative? I think the alternative that we see very clearly with AI and everything that's been happening with ChatGPT is that we can leverage these large language models so to craft personalized and tailored experiences for the individual. We can adapt our website's content to the visitor's buying intention, unique situation and characteristics. By gathering the data on who they are, what they want, and how they want it, we can feed this onto the AI and have it personalize each step of the customer experience. But before I show you some more examples of how this would look like, I'd like to approach an important topic here, which is privacy. In an idealistic world, we would all own our data and get to choose who owns and who sees it. So this means that you would hold the keys, you would hold the access to your private information, and not Meta or Google, which is the current scenario right now. You would be able to use a website or a service, you would allow it to see and access your data, so that you could have the most personalized and seamless experience, but they wouldn't be able to own, store, or sell it. And this is a big vision of Web3, right? This is what a lot of Web3 people talk about. And I love it. Like, I couldn't see a brighter future for the world because data, it's important that when we're interacting with these digital tools that they know what they want so that we can get it faster, right? But we also don't want to trade our information so that they make money off of it or so that they manipulate us. For example, with the whole thing that happened with Facebook and the politics in the US. So I would love it to be this way, but it concerns me that there's a lot of private incentive and there's a lot of government friction to actually make this possible. So I don't know if that's going to be the future, but that's a topic for another time. So I want to explore now a bit of how we can use AI to bring a greater level of personalization to your company's customer experience. So one example of this is personalized lead pages. I believe the future of the web is dynamic. Imagine you arrive on a product's landing page and the whole structure and the written content on that page was created specifically for you. You don't need to scroll, you don't need to visit countless pages, or you don't need to read the whole copy to find the information you're looking for. What's important for you is right there, right in front of your eyes, and you don't have to go a lot seeking it. And if it's not, you can simply ask an AI chatbot and it will tell you everything you need to know about the product or the service that you're looking for. So it's like having a digital salesman. This is real and it's possible to do now. An example is integrating questions onto the page that once answered change the page's content dynamically to adapt to the new information. So for example, if you're looking at the landing page of a health coach, they could have like in the middle of the content, while they're talking about fitness goals, they could ask you the fitness goal that you're looking for, and then basically the next part of the page and all of the following ones would adapt to that specific goal that you just mentioned. Or for example, let's imagine we're talking about the landing page of a digital marketing agency, and right at the top, we ask you, hey, what's the most important thing for you about getting more clients? Is it the amount of clients? Is it the quality? And then the person would type that out, and then we would just change the whole copy of the page and the whole proposition to match to what the client is looking for. Another good example is personalized email sequences. So imagine you register on a website to get more information about a product or a service, and you get an email that feels like it was written by a human, just for you. Instead of the generic, hey, welcome to our email list. We love you and we hope you become our customer, you know? it has a different touch, right? When you say like, hi, John, this plan was created just for you, and we took into consideration all the information that you just given us. It's going to be a pleasure to have you with us. This email has a more human touch. It understands your requirements, understands your needs, understands your situation, and sends you the right information with the right style and tone that's important for you, so that you can have a good idea and so that you can have a good customer experience with that company. This would leave a much better first impression, right? Another example of this is tailored case studies for service businesses. For example, you could hire, let's imagine you're trying to hire a service company and you register to get the case study of a previous client. When you register, you also leave information about your business. So you tell them what kind of business you are, what kind of goals you're trying to achieve, and what you're looking for from the partnership with them. What they do is then they use this information and they tailor the case study to see like, hey, look, we did this for Apple, like we helped Apple increase their customer retention in the same way that we did this for them, because you also have the same goal and you're trying to do this and that, we could do this for you. You know? So it's different because it's almost like having a salesman in all of the interactions you're having without actually having to talk with the salesman. And instead of just being generic content that you know it's there and it was created for everyone. Another great example is sales and customer experience. So imagine you had an experienced salesman, okay? And his only role would be to stay on a chat, talking to the people who show up in your website, and this salesman could make questions, could answer questions, could identify objections, needs and wants, and then it could approach them strategically and basically close the sale if it's an e-commerce or something that you can purchase immediately, or leave the lead close to be ready to buy or ready to be approached by a human representative. The lead has no more objections, understands the product, understands how the product can help them in their unique situation, and it's a much better experience in that sense. So the use cases for AI are basically endless. And it does not matter the industry, the role, or the task. There's always something that can be automated and that you can use AI to maybe even improve it. So thank you so much for having me here today.